What's up, guys? Ryan J. Whitehead here from Discovery Expo, and today we are talking about hardware. As we enter a new generation of console gaming with the Xbox Series X, Xbox has made a number of technological advancements across hardware and software that will take your gaming experience to the next level. Here are some things you should know to help familiarize yourself with the tech and functionality of the Xbox Series X. Starting with auto low latency mode. As part of the commitment to responsiveness for the next generation of console gaming, Xbox Series X supports auto low latency mode with capable displays. Auto low latency mode automatically enables your display's lowest latency mode when you start playing. This functionality already exists on Xbox One consoles today. Then we got backwards compatibility. At Xbox, they have made a promise to compatibility. You can expect thousands of your favorite games across 4 generations of gaming. Your Xbox One gaming accessories, your gaming legacy, and industry-leading services like the Xbox Game Pass to work with your Xbox Series X. Backwards compatible games will benefit from the power and performance of the Xbox Series X, resulting in steadier frame rates, faster load times, improved resolution, and visual fidelity. Fans and game creators can feel confident they will be able to play and create the best version of games on the Xbox Series X. Now, let's talk about GPU work creation. Xbox Series X adds hardware, firmware, and shader compiler support for your GPU work creation that provides powerful capabilities for the GPU to efficiently handle new workloads without any CPU assistance. This provides more flexibility, performance, and for developers to deliver their graphics vision. Hardware accelerated DirectX ray tracing. This is the next feature we're going to talk about. From improved lighting, shadows, and reflections, as well as more realistic acoustics and spatial audio, ray tracing enables developers to create more physically accurate worlds for the very first time in a game console. The Xbox Series X includes support for high performance, hardware accelerated ray tracing. Xbox Series X uses a custom-designed GPU leveraging the latest innovation from our partners at AMD and built in collaboration with the same team who developed DirectX ray tracing. Developers will be able to deliver incredibly immersive visual and audio experiences using the same techniques on PC and beyond. Then we have intelligent delivery. Microsoft developers facing technology to reduce the size of game installs. Intelligent delivery empowers developers only to install the pieces of the game you need, thereby minimizing the amount of content that needs to be installed or downloaded to the SSD. And then we have latency. Latency refers to the responsiveness of the console and controller, including the time it takes for your input to be registered by your console, then displayed on your screen. Reducing latency results in a more connected and immersive experience. Xbox Series X will be their most responsive console ever, featuring ultra low latency with advanced technology that minimizes latency at every single stage of the gaming pipeline, so that you instantly see the impact of your actions on screen. Which leads us to dynamic latency input. Another innovation that Xbox is making to reduce latency for Xbox Series X is dynamic latency input, or DLI. With DLI, developers can more accurately synchronize the player's input with the game's simulation and render loop, even further reducing input latency while playing in the game. Now, let's talk about resolution. Native resolution on the Xbox Series X backwards compatibility enhancement for select Xbox One games that allows them to render at native 4K even if they weren't originally designed for it. Let me say that again. So, native resolution, backwards compatibility. So here we go. Native resolution is an Xbox Series X backwards compatibility enhancement for the select Xbox One games that allows them to render at native 4K even if they weren't originally designed for 4K. Pretty crazy, right? Optimized for Series X. Now, you've been seeing this all over the games that have been announced that have this lovely little icon that says optimized for Series X. So let's talk about it. Games built using Series X development kit and designed to take advantage of the unique capabilities of the Xbox Series X. These include new titles built natively using the Xbox Series X development environment, as well as previously released titles that have been rebuilt specifically for the Series X. They will showcase unparalleled load times, visuals, responsiveness, and frame rates up to 120 frames per second. And then, with all this beautiful resolution, you're going to need something to cool it down. So we're going to talk about the technical term of parallel cooling architecture. Parallel cooling architecture is the name of innovative system design used to cool the Xbox Series X, building the console that delivers 4 times the processing power of the Xbox One X in the most quiet and efficient way, something that is critically important with all the extra power of our next generation console. This led to its unique design. Now, with all that resolution, all that cooling, it's got a pretty epic processor. So let's talk about the RDNA 2. The custom design processor in the Xbox Series X leverages RDNA 2, the latest next generation graphics architecture from our partners at AMD. RDNA 2 provides a significant advancement in performance and efficiency, as well as next generation graphics that feature such hardware as accelerated ray tracing and variable rate shading. Now, with all that, this means with this level of power and cooling, this means you get a great feature called Quick Resume, a new feature powered by the technical capabilities and the innovative Xbox Velocity architecture in the Xbox Series X. Quick Resume enables players to seamlessly switch between multiple titles and resume instantly from where you last left off. Now, we talked about resolution, we're talking about cooling, we're talking about power. You know, let's talk about the Xbox Velocity architecture. The Xbox Velocity architecture is the new architecture we've created for the Xbox Series X to include new capabilities of never before seen in console development. It consists of 4 components: our custom NVMe SSD, a dedicated hardware decompression block, an all-new direct storage API, and sampler feedback streaming. This combination of custom hardware and deep software integration allows developers to radically improve asset streaming and effectively multiply available memory. It will enable richer, more dynamic worlds unlike anything you've ever seen before. It also effectively eliminates loading times and makes fast travel systems just like that, fast. Now, let's talk about the Xbox Series X storage expansion card. Built in partnership with Seagate, this 1 terabyte custom storage solution expands storage capacity of the Xbox Series X with the full speed and performance of the Xbox Velocity architecture. Previous generation Xbox titles can still be played directly from external USB 3.2 hard drives. However, to receive all the benefits of the Xbox Velocity architecture and optimal performance, the Xbox Series X optimized games should be played from the internal SSD or Xbox Series X expansion card. Now, we've talked about all the hardware and design, but one thing I really want to talk about is the custom design processor in the Xbox Series X. This is the Zen 2. This is AMD's latest CPU architecture. The Zen 2 provides a significant advancement in CPU performance, delivering more than 4 times the performance of an Xbox One X. And that will also give you 120 frames per second. With support for up to 125 frames per second, the Xbox Series X will allow developers to exceed more than your traditional 60 frames per second in favor of heightened realism. Now, finally, you know, you hear that term teraflops thrown around a lot. So let's talk about what teraflops means and what it means for the Xbox Series X. Teraflops stands for trillion floating point operations per second. It is a measure of raw mathematical performance of a GPU. While the Xbox Series X delivers 12 teraflops, and that's our secret word, by the way, teraflops, make sure you use it. This 12 teraflops of 32-bit float performance, 2 times that of the Xbox One X, the architectural efficiency improvements brought to you by AMD's RDNA 2 architecture, a lot of words there, plus our next generation features such as variable rate shading and hardware accelerated DirectX ray tracing. This means that the Xbox Series X will deliver over twice the effective graphics performance of the Xbox One X for games. And that is some really powerful hardware. So make sure you take a look, check out some articles on the Series X and take a deep dive into that power and hardware for this console. It's really exciting. That is it. That is all we have for hardware today. Take a look, learn more. That's Discovery Expo. Thank you.